What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are continuing with the RPG Tutorial Series, and in this episode we will set up the save and load system. That way we can save the game, exit, and when we come in, everything will be loaded back. It's going to be a very easy build to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so in this episode we will set up some of the player properties, okay? So the location in the world, some of its equipped items, and maybe some stats if we have time. So let's get started by going ahead and creating the save asset. So for this, let's go into the blueprints folder, right click and create a new blueprint class. So this class is basically called save game, and this will basically allow us to save some variables. So let's go ahead and select this class and let's name this something as bb_save game. Okay, it's gonna be our generic main save game object. And then we can get started by adding some variables. As you can see, we have an event graph, but we're not going to be making use of this, okay? There's not going to be any logic on here. The logic will be externally. So let's begin by, like I mentioned, creating some variables. So in this case, we want to begin by saving some of the player properties and, for example, the location, right? Where we are in the world. So let's go to variables, create a new variable, and this will be basically the player location. And we're going to go ahead and change this to a transform, or better a vector, actually, because, well, the vector will only contain the location, not the rotation and things like that, which we will basically keep it separated from now. Okay, so with that said, now we're gonna go ahead and create another variable, and in this case this is gonna be the current health, right, of our player, and it's gonna be, of course, a float. Then we're gonna go ahead and do the max health, right, that we have on our player. Then the current stamina we will not save. We will only save the max stamina because, well, I mean, the stamina basically fills in a couple of seconds. It will be kind of stupid to save that. It's not necessary. And then we also go and put the current XP, right, that we have, and then the level. And I think we had a max XP, so let me do also a max XP, and I'll move this right up here and just rename this to be current XP. All right, and I'll actually put in no caps, so it's a bit, there we go, easier. All right, so now we have some variables set. We actually need two more, which is gonna be if we take a look at the equipment system, and we open up the component, we have this weapon slots, which is basically an array of S slots. So we do exactly the same thing, just go and create a variable, and this will basically be the player inventory, right, or slots, we could say. And this will basically be an S_slot type, but of course compile and change this to an array, because of course it's a list of these slots, and that's it. So with that, we can actually save and get started. We have main variables created. Now with time, we'll probably add a few more, maybe, and of course you can add whatever ones you want, but these are the principal main ones, okay? Good, so now we are good enough with our save game. We could actually close it, and all the logic will basically come in. I'm gonna do it on the game mode, right? It makes sense to save and load in the game mode. So for this, let's go to world settings, and just in game mode we have the third person game mode, which is the one that we're using. For now we just have this, right, which will, you know, just add get the show cursor to be disabled and so on, but we are going to add some more logic. So let's begin by going ahead and creating a load function, right? In this case, I was gonna make a custom event. Yeah, I'm gonna make a custom. I like more to have everything visually in the graph. So let's create a custom event. This will be load game. All right. And in this load game, we're gonna do a few things. So the first thing that we need to do when we load the game is check if a save game already exists, right? If it's the first time playing the game, it will not create one. But if we do, yes. So as you can see, we can assign a slot name, and this is really cool because we have, you know, different slots for different people that play the game, for example. So let me right click and create a variable, and this will be the save game slot, right? And I'm gonna actually join everything together, and like this, save. Oh, there you go, save game slot. And the reason that I'm making a variable is that we're gonna make a lot of references to this slot name, because when we load and save, we will need this. So now with the variable selected, let's put an initial value of something as simple as save1, right? Make sure that you spell it like that, and that's it. Of course, you can put whatever name you want, but I think that save1 is a common thing, and that will make sense, honestly. Alright, so now we're gonna make a branch over here, right? And depending on some things, we will do one thing or another, right? In this case, if our save does not exist, we will need to go ahead and create a save. So we can use this create save game object, and that way we can create it. In this case, we're gonna select the class, which is PP save game, which we just created a few moments ago. And then what we need to do is right click and promote this to a variable, okay? Which will basically go and allow us to access it a bit later. So this variable will basically be something as the save game BP, all right? We can put this here, and there we go. All right, so now we have created this over here. And then if we do have a save game created, well, instead we will directly go into the main logic of load, which is load save game, right? So load game from slot. All right, and with this we can again go and plug in our save game slot over here, and that's it. Cool. So now with that said, we will also go and save this on a variable. So we're gonna drag save game BP and set it, right? So we're updating this variable depending on this. Now actually the return value is a bit different. We have a save game object and a BP save game object, right? So what we need to do is cast to the class, right? So that way we can actually access the specific save game class that we need, which is important, okay? Because now we're basically saving a generic class of save game object, and we want the one with our code, right? Cool. So now we are actually going ahead and doing this stuff. So in here we will actually need to load the game, okay? And we will, need to do all the stuff about, putting the character in position and things like that. So let's go and begin to do all of this, which I'm gonna go and actually create another custom event over here, which will be load parameters, right? Player parameters. And this includes all these stuff. So I'm gonna plug in here load player parameters, and that way we'll have more organized. I'm gonna put it right over here. So load player parameters will basically load location, all these stats about player health, level, things like that, inventory, and all this stuff that we just added. So in this case, I'm gonna just right click and get the player character that we have in our level, right? That way we can access the player. Then I'm going to go and cast to this third person character that we're using, and now we can access all these stuff. So first of all, let's begin by doing the location. So I'm gonna go and set the actor location, and this of course will be this vector, which we can get from save game BP, right? I can basically go get this and now access the get player location and plug it in. Teleport enabled, that way we will basically make sure that physics is going good, and that's it. We're going ahead and saving the, getting the location from this BP object and putting it there. Then we will also go and need to basically do the stats, right? So I can get the stats component, right? And with this, I can do things as set it variables. So I can set the current health, right, to be this. Then I will also go and set the max health to be this. Then I will set the max stamina to be this. We already said that we're gonna not be doing the current stamina because it's silly. We're gonna set the current XP, which is this one, and then we're also gonna be setting the max XP. And then finally we are going to be setting the level, which actually you need to change this to an integer, okay? Because of course it's not a float, it's an integer. So because it doesn't have decimals. So set level, and there we go. Cool, so now I basically just need to get the save game BP and begin to assign all of this. So I can get the current health, right? And basically plug it over here. And I get the max health, right? And plug it over here. Then I'm gonna get another instance and paste it here so it's a bit more organized. I'm gonna get the stamina, which is the max stamina only, plug it here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get the XP, which is gonna be the current XP, and plug it here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste it here, and I'm gonna get the max XP and just plug it here, and then basically get the level, and of course you guessed it, plug it here. And now we are basically just accessing all of our values from the save game BP, which has the save value, and filling it into the proper blueprint, right? None of this stuff will be updated. And now we just have one last thing to do, which is the player slots. So I'm gonna go, and it's basically from the third person character, get, and in this case it will be the equipment component, which is this one, system, and set the equipped slots. So set slots, there we go. We call it weapon slots, but it's the same thing. And then I get, once again, the save game BP, and then get the player slots, right? And plug it here. And there we go. Now our load would happen, right? We will basically check if the game exists. If so, we load it and fill in all the values, right? So cool, everything is going ahead and working. So in the begin play, of course, we will need to load all of the value, not load actors, but load game. Cool. Now, of course, we need to do another thing, which would, of course, be save, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just put all this to be load. And I'm gonna increase it like this, right? Make it big and fill everything. And I'm gonna make a sub comment, which will be load player parameters. All right, so it's nice and organized. There we go. Cool. So now let's go ahead and right click, create a new custom event, and this will be save game. All right. And in save game, we'll do a very similar thing. Okay. What we will do is basically go ahead and again check if the slot exists, okay, just in case, and we'll only continue if it exists. So I'm gonna add a branch here, and if it does exist, make sure to also connect the save game slot, very important. We will basically directly save all the values. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're gonna get once again the save game BP, which we would basically have once we load the game initially, that so there will always be this variable filled in, and we're gonna basically manually set all the values, right? So in this case, it will be set current health, set max health, and all that stuff. Okay, so let's do this. Set max health, right? Then it will be set current XP, connected set max XP. As you can see, it's very straightforward to this save system. The only thing is that is tedious because of course we have a bunch of parameters to take care of, right? Set max stamina, okay. Set level, and last but not least, it should be set slots, right? Player slots. Cool. With that said, actually I forgot one. Now we're gonna place at the start, so it has the kind of the same order, which will be set the player location. Cool. So now with that said, we just need to fill in these parameters. So in this case, there's an error here, which oh, of course, I'm getting an error because there's no default value, but of course we're gonna fill it in a second. But we need a reference to our players, so let me get all of this right. Move it to the right, and we'll do the same thing. Get the player from the level, right? And then we're gonna get all the information. So in this case, the first one will be we get actor location, and this will be placed on here. Then for this, we'll basically get the stats component, right? And we will basically get all the stuff. So get the health, and this will go here. Then we'll also go and get the max health and fill it on here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just make another copy of this, right, and connect it, because if not it will have a some errors. Well, not some errors, I mean like more organization. Get the current XP, which is just XP, and then also we're gonna go ahead and get the max XP and plug it here. Then once again I'm gonna copy, paste, and connect this, right, so it's organized. We could create this a variable, but I think we can just do it quickly like this. Get stamina, and this will be the max stamina, plug it here, and then we're gonna get the level, and level goes here. And then finally we're gonna get the equipment system component, which is this one, and we're going to go ahead and get the player slots or the weapon slots and fill them here. So now we are saving all this data into the variables, but there's still one last function that we need to call, right? So we're filling in the values, but we need to tell this the game blueprint class to actually save those values that are inside of those variables. So this is going to be the save game BP variable, and then just go and say save game to slot, and then we can go ahead and just plug in again the save slot name, and that's it. We are saving the game. So let's put a print over here to something as game saved, and then also I'm gonna copy and paste this over here so we know that the game has loaded. So game loaded, and on here it will be game save created, right? New game save created. Alright, so with that said, we're good to go. Now we have all the logic. Let me comment this to save game, and let me just rename this to load game. And with that said, we just need to add maybe a key to save the game, right? Because loading will happen automatically once we play the game. But also, yeah, so okay, yeah. So let's open third person character, go to event graph, let's go down and add a key to save. For example, F2 or something like that. I don't think I have that applied, right? Or 5 in our keyboard. Let's do 5, right? So 5 in our keyboard. Let's do it debug, right? So we can save through here, and we'll basically get the save game. Well, we need to access the class, right? So one way that we can do this is through the third person game mode. So we're gonna get the game mode, cast to the third person game mode so we can access this class, and then we're gonna go ahead and just get the save game BP, which should be filled, right? This should be filled, but just in case, let me right click and convert it to a validated to get, so we only continue if this is actually valid, and if so, we will call save game, right? Which should be oh, sorry, we actually create a function inside of that. Sorry about that. Okay, actually my keyboard is bugging a lot. I don't know why I cannot. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, I cannot delete that. That's very interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and save that over there. I don't know why. I think my key is bugged, but anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and also do another debug key, which will be, for example, 7 or 6, makes more sense, which will be debug. It will do exactly the same thing. So copy this to nodes and paste them. And of course I can't because my keys just broke for some reason. I honestly don't know why did it break. I don't know if it's Unreal or my keys. Yes, my keys. Oh, there we go. Alright, it's like going with delay. Okay, maybe that's actually Unreal. And this will basically be a load game, right? So we can test this out, but you know, we can just exit and open the game. So if now I press K, we can see new game save created at the top left of the corner. So then what I can do is maybe, you know, go and get some items. So let's get a sword and a shield, right? We now have it on this, right? We will not still save the weapons equipped, okay? Oh, sorry about that. I did not want to do that. Alright, so we have, as you can see, a weapon and a shield, right? Which is cool. And then what I am going to do is do some damage to me. So we're gonna end this number, and I'm gonna move into this top part over here. So now if I go and press 5, the game should be saved in theory. And then if I move again and press 6, okay, well, we just created a new save and it's not being created. So what is happening, as you can see, which is always creating the new save, right? Why is the game not saving and also not loading, right? What is happening? Well, the thing is that in here, when we call the initial load game, right, and we check if there's a save game slot existing, and if there is, we load it, and if not, we create it. Basically is we need to also save initially, right? So when we create it, we need to save it initially. And why? Well, just things about life. And on here, right, even though we are not saving on the start, we should be able to, you know, press 5 and, you know, save the slot, right, with the key. So let me just try to put a print over here and see if it will print. So if I now go here and press 5, yeah, we can see that we get hello, but not the message, right? So we actually seems that we need to save 100%. So after we create the new save object, we're going to get this and basically do a save game to slot. This will have basically this, and of course the values will be empty, but we're doing this. So this is happening. Now I can go and press 5 and we go game saved. So we initially have to save the game. This is how it is. So I picked up 2 items, right, like before, and they're gonna move up. So now I'm gonna press 5. Okay, we saved the game, and now if I exit and press play, as you can see, we are here. And if I open this up, we have our light sword and our shield. How good is that? And then also, if I go and press damage, right, so I'm gonna leave it like a nearly death, press 5, press again, I am here, and with that health, and again I still have my shield and sword, which is really cool. So everything is going ahead and working, which is very nice. So things to left to do is only to save things as the time of day for the other level, and then also quests, which will be done in the next episode. So that's it, guys. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. We will have full access to the project files through Patreon and YouTube members, link in the description. Join my Discord server, follow me on socials, and now yes, with all that said, bye bye.